Hello, my name is Doug Gabbard. Welcome to Practicing Photography, where I try to get better one photograph at a time. If you got a new camera, you really don't know how to use it, you stay in auto all the time, you'd like to learn more, well, stick with me on this video. I'm going to tell you 7 things that a photography club can do for you. Yes, a photography club. This video is about photography clubs. I run a photography club. I also have this YouTube channel. I have a blog that I post 2 blogs every week. I post a video every week on my YouTube channel, and I also have a web page for my photography club, and we do quite a bit. I'm going to tell you 7 things that I do in my photography club, and hopefully you can find a photography club that does similar or more. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you at least 7 things to look for when you start looking for a photography club to join. So before we get into photography clubs, let's talk about 2 kinds of photography clubs before we get into what they can do for you at least. There's competitive clubs and fun clubs. They're both fun. I'm not saying the competitive ones are not, but competitive, you're going to have a higher end photographers. They're not going to cater to you learning new things. They expect a certain level of knowledge. A fun club is for anyone from entry level to the high end level. You're going to have all kinds there. So don't be afraid to join. If you join a high end or if you join a competitive one, expect to get a little lost if you're just getting into photography. So stick with the fun club. There's probably more of those than there are the competitive ones. So look for them. Another advantage of fun clubs, and that's what I'm going to focus on because mine is a fun club, is cost. A competitive club is going to have entry fees, annual fees, membership fees. You're going to have a lot of fees that will be cropping up. In a fun club, mine in particular is 100% free. The only cost you'll incur with my club is if we happen to go on a photo trip where the venue requires an entry fee. The other cost you may have is whatever photography equipment you decide you think you need, and you start buying gear. So that's the only cost, is self-imposed. So here are some things my photography club does. 1 of 7. The first one is meetings. Whether it's a competitive or a fun club, you need meetings. You need a way to communicate to people, a way to tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, give feedback to each other to communicate. And I do that twice a month. Once is in a meeting setting where we sit in a room together, share our photos, and talk about them. The other one is we go on photo trips, and I will talk about that in a little bit. The second item you want to look for in a club is training. Yes, training. We provide all kinds of training in my club, regardless of the camera you're using. I don't care if you're using a point and shoot, if you're using a smartphone, if you're using a DSLR or mirrorless, you name it. You bring it, we will work with you and help you get better with it. Here are some topics that my club has covered. We talked about all the knobs, dials, buttons. What do they mean? When should I use them? And how do I get off auto? What is aperture? What is shutter speed? What is ISO? How do I shoot fireworks? How do I shoot black and white photos? Can you help me with my composition? What kind of lights are there? I hear harsh light and soft light. What does all that mean? Can we practice doing portraits? And does that feature exist on a smartphone? What can I do with my smartphone? Are you in a photography club? The topics I talked about above that I just mentioned, are they in your club? What kind of topics have you had? Share them in the comments down below. And if you're not in a club, what kind of topics would you want covered if you were in a club? So we've covered number 1 and 2. Number 3 is photo trips. I said I would talk about that, and here we are. Photo trips are places we go to get together, socialize, see local places. I'll give you some examples of where I've been here in just a minute. These trips typically last from half an hour, 45 minutes, a couple hours, or it could be all day. It just depends. On these trips, we apply what we learned during our meetings, what we share. The purpose of these meetings is just to get out and take pictures. Here are some cool places we've gone. Most of these are non-specific to where I live. Only one is specific. We went to a local garden shop. Tons of colors, beautiful flowers and plants, trees, shrubs, you name it. Excellent place to practice photography. We went to a place called Roebling Bridge. That's in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was shut down for a little bit for maintenance, but we were allowed to walk on it. So it gave us close up and easy access to the bridge. We went to a farm that had animals such as goats, horses, donkeys, swans, exotic chickens. Yeah, some cool photos there. We went to the Oxbow, which Oxbow is just a form of water on how it's set up. You can look that up on Google or Bing. But we have an Oxbow nearby where I live where there's a lot of wildlife. We went to the lineup of the planets, if you remember when Saturn and Jupiter lined up to give us a bright star. We go to local parks. We've done that multiple times. We've met for sunrises and we've met for sunsets. So just like the training topics, what kind of places do you go on photo trips? Give me a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. But not everyone can go on these photo trips for whatever reason. They might miss one, or maybe they're just not capable to travel. So if that's the case, then we have games that we play via social media. We have one where we take a picture, and the next person needs to identify something in that picture and include it in theirs and let the chain continue on. So I might take a picture of an area and there's a couple birds in it, and they can take a picture and it has birds in it. The next person may see water in their picture, so they take a picture and water's in theirs. You just got to identify the link on the next picture. That can go for a while, let it go as long as you like. In addition to games like that, we come up with challenges that get a little bit more involvement. Sometimes games, you have to wait for your turn to actually do anything. This next one gets you involved and you can participate as much as you want. If you've heard of Project 365 or Project 52, that's where you take a picture a day for a year or a picture a week for a year. That's kind of intimidating, a lot of commitment, and if you got a full-time job and a life, that's hard to do. So I came up with a game called List of 7, which is the same thing, just 7 days. I just gave it a different name. You could call it Project 7. You take a picture a day for 7 days. Sometimes I give it a theme, sometimes I don't. It's up to you. So once you've done some games, you've done some photo trips, you think you're ready to enter a contest. So that's number 5. While my club is a fun club and we don't have contests internally, we don't compete against each other, there are local contests, and I encourage you to use local contests because those are typically much smaller attended or submitted, what's the right word? Less submissions are in there. If you go online and find a contest, there might be 10,000, might be 100,000 people in there. Your chances of being getting noticed are slim to none. So I recommend you find a local contest for phone book covers, a local newspaper, what have you, or even anything that's local. You're gonna get in that way. So I only have 2 more items to go, but before I cover those 2 items, if you're getting some information out of this that you like, please hit the like and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you know when I post a new video. So number 6 is community events. I live in a small community. Well, we have about 2,000 homes in my community. We have a lot of events. And it's not unheard of for my photography club to show up to the polar bear dip, hay rides, Halloween walks. We have a Labor Day bash people show up for. We have music that we have up in the park every once in a while. I'll take pictures there as well. These are really good places to go because you're going to learn different forms of light that you have to deal with. A parade during the day, you're going to have bright, harsh light. A Halloween walk, you're going to be doing night photography. So the variety from these events is going to be rather vast. The last item, number 7, is publishing a local paper. And what I mean by local paper, I'm not talking about the large city paper. It's going to be difficult to get in there on a regular basis. I'm talking about the paper for your community, your small town, your neighborhood. If you live in a property owners association, they probably have some type of publication. They would love to get some information from you. An article that I publish pretty regularly in my local paper is "Where in the town is this?" And it's a picture of something in our community that might be obscure, not easy to identify, or hard to find unless you go by that location. And they publish it in there and people can guess where it's at. And I do that every month. So what can a photography club do for you? Well, I've given you a list of 7 things. And I'll summarize that down in the comments down below, or in the description down below. But hopefully you've learned a lot. And if you are learning, like I said above, please hit the like and subscribe button for me and hit the notification bell so you know when I post a new video. So are you in a club? Give me a comment down below. What club you're in, where are you located? If you're not in a club, are you looking for one? And if not, you need to get in the club. Photography's fun. Get around other people that do photography and have like goals. So again, thank you for listening. My name is Doug Edward, and this is Practicing Photography, getting better 1 photograph at a time.